Hi everybody, welcome to Lily's Antidepressant Life. I'm here to share some of my experiences battling depression, anxiety, and all that goes along with that. I'll be highlighting the good, the bad, and the slightly baffling. I encourage y'all to send me comments and messages with questions or topics you'd like me to bring up. My goal is for this to be a safe place to discuss the hard stuff. Only people who have experienced depression really understand depression. And as such a unique community, we need to embrace and lift each other up. I'm going to start today with a recent therapy session I had. We were talking about and but. And my therapist prompted. And what? I asked, bewildered, slightly impatient. Okay, I probably had annoyance spitting out with each syllable. But you have to understand that therapy is exhausting for me. I throw my whole being into the attempt to heal my tender bruised soul. My emotions come popping out like popcorn, raining tiny salty kernels into every corner of my therapist's calmly decorated room. When I feel this raw, this vulnerable, this exposed, the last thing I want is to be quizzed. My therapist, I'll call her Fresia, is a saint, an angel in Reeboks. She doesn't take offense at my clip tone. She just smiles encouragingly with a gentle reminder. Replace the word but with and. Oh no, I think it's time to reframe. Honestly, this is why I love Fresia so much. She has this incredible talent for taking my ugly, defeated thoughts, reshaping them, and buffing them until they are shining, brilliant bits of truth. But what I hate about Fresia is when she has the audacity to expect me to be able to do the same thing. Finding the unpolished diamond in the grimy underground mine of my inner dialogue is hard. I struggle with my inability to reframe my own thoughts by myself. I've always considered myself to be an intelligent person. I got good grades, I went to college, was a teacher, and I consider myself to be a lifelong learner. So why am I so incredibly stupid when it comes to myself? It's a question I know many people struggle with, not just me. Maybe it's because I have been encouraged and praised for thinking of others first for my entire life. It's a great quality, to be sure, but I've never felt I had the permission to think of my well-being first. As a child, I was always the good daughter, the good sister, the good student, the good friend. As an adult, I was always the good wife, mother, daughter-in-law, and teacher. There was no room in my universe for selfishness. The thought of reframing my thoughts just to raise my own confidence is very foreign to me. Of course, reframing isn't just for raising confidence. It is so much more. It's flipping the negative into a positive opportunity for growth. Fresia prompted me again to jolt me out of my moment of reflection. She said, "You said you aren't an angry person." "Right," I answered. "I am not an angry person." Yeah, more than a hint of anger crystallized in my words. She kept going. "Is there something wrong with being angry?" And I think, oh no, I'm on to her with this one. I've been asked that question more than once. How do you feel about feeling anger? Is anger bad? How was anger dealt with in my childhood home? I get it. I really do. Anger can be a useful emotion, sometimes powerful. People shouldn't deny anger. I just don't get angry very easily. I remember a friend of mine telling me once that I never get angry, and I corrected her and said that no, I do in fact get angry when pushed far enough. But here's the thing. If I've been pushed so far that I become angry, you better believe that I am justified, because I will have gone through every possible mental checklist to avoid getting angry. I don't like that feeling. So I looked at Fressia and I replied, "No, but I am generally just a happy person and I don't see anything wrong with that." "And do you ever feel angry?" she prodded. "Oh, yes," I answered emphatically, because I just think of the last few years that I've gone through. "And is it okay for you to feel angry?" she prodded some more. "Yes," I answered. "So, you need to tell yourself that you are not an angry person, and it's okay to feel angry at times. Both realities exist." Wow. Light bulb moment, like in cartoons when a literal light bulb gets switched on to crush the surrounding darkness, or maybe more like a spotlight beaming down on an actor on a stage to make him stand out from the rest of the cast. Or even better, a searchlight cutting dramatically through the quiet, blank dead of night. I'm a little dramatic. But that makes so much sense. The power of "and." Both realities exist. In my career as the good fill in the blank, I've always excused bad behavior from other people using the spirit of "but." She snapped at me and hurt my feelings, but she was having a really bad day. "He forgot my birthday and made me feel unimportant, but he's really busy. He abused me, but he is mentally unwell." Using "but" in those sentences reduces the importance of the first part, the first thing that I had said. And it's time to switch the "but" with "and." Yes, she might have been having a really bad day, and she snapped at me and hurt my feelings. My feelings are authentic and valid. I can't just wash them away because she's having a bad day. Yes, he is busy, and he made me feel unimportant by forgetting my birthday, which doesn't feel good. Yes, my abuser is mentally unwell, and he abused me, which is inexcusable. These are the spotlight, searchlight moments through which therapy has made a huge impact on my depression. I realize that no matter what, I matter. I count. I am valuable. So about a year ago, I began recording short little videos about part of the journey I was on. You see, I had been on antidepressants and had decided to try to get off of them. I researched to prepare myself and discovered there's a lot of very clinical and impersonal information out there. I also found helpful forums that have real people asking and answering questions. But I was longing for a personal explanation of the journey from the point of view of a real person going through the process authentically. Not a clinical list of possible side effects, and not group validation, although those are both important. I wanted to know what other people had experienced. I wanted a real narrative. To fully explain why, I need to go back further into my life experiences. I have a disorder called lupus. It is an autoimmune disorder that causes my body to essentially attack itself incorrectly. If I catch a common cold, instead of my body attacking the germs, it might decide to attack my finger joints. Or it might strike the lining of my lungs, making breathing difficult. It's a very unpredictable disorder full of chronic pain. For a time, my doctor put me on an antidepressant, not for depression, but because it had the potential to ease some of my lupus symptoms. It didn't seem to help. So I, in my infinite wisdom, decided to stop taking the medication. Cold turkey, no weaning off. I just dusted my hands off the antidepressant and said, all done. Big mistake. I experienced horrible brain zaps. Horrible, horrible, horrible. I won't try to explain what a brain zap really is because I'm neither a doctor nor a scientist. I will just share what I experienced. Brain zaps feel just like the word sounds, like a zap of an electric current striking the brain like a snake bite. A high-pitched zing accompanies it, and each zap would make me wince and grimace and, well, any other descriptive word that can be applied to the feeling of nails on a chalkboard. Brain zaps are painful. By the time I realized I should have probably talked to my doctor before going off of my antidepressants, I'd been off the medication for over a week. So I didn't think the best idea would be to go back on the antidepressant and start over to wean myself off. Now, I know my doctor would have had me do exactly that, and it would have lessened my symptoms tremendously, but I thought I had it under control. But I didn't. Oh, wait. Okay, reframe that. I thought I had it under control, and I didn't. Both statements are true, but I shouldn't reduce the first statement by throwing in a but there. I really did think that I had it under control. I thought I was doing the right thing for my body and health, and I was trying my best. Well, the truth is I could have used some help. Anyway, I experienced brain zaps for days, and the days turned into weeks, and the weeks turned into months. With time, the intensity and frequency lessened, but I went through a good 3 months of these withdrawal symptoms, and it was not a fun time. That happened in early 2020, just as COVID-19 hit. So I was at least home during the lockdown and could muddle through a day filled with brain zaps without anybody knowing. And eventually they diminished until they went away. I felt relieved that I'd made it through. So now fast forward nearly 2 years ahead. Now it is Christmas 2021. And I have what I refer to as my season of Job. If Job sounds unfamiliar to you, it is the name of a biblical character who went through ordeal after ordeal, yet continued to be patient and a very kind person. That is where the term the patience of Job comes from. My season of Job was terrible, and I'm not even being dramatic. I had problem after problem hurled at me like Sandy Koufax fastballs. And I admit I didn't rise up to the level of Job's patience. My doctor put me on antidepressants again, but this time actually for depression. She said I checked a lot of the boxes of big stressful life events and thought this would help me through the rough patch. I stayed on them for over a year, and they were working well. So fast forward again, now we come to last spring, 2023. And although I was feeling pretty good, I had gained a lot of weight, which is from the antidepressants. Talk about counterproductivity. Weight gain does not help the depressed. So I decided to quit, but this time I did it right. I talked to my doctor and weaned off while under the doctor's supervision. This is about the time when I began recording my videos about my process. I shared weekly reports about the symptoms I was experiencing, and I found there was a genuine interest from people. A lot of people suffer from depression and have questions about taking medication and weaning off, and wanted to see it from the perspective of a real person. It was nice to be able to interact with other people who understand. Going through the process of weaning off antidepressants the second time and following the doctor's instructions this time made the experience much different. I experienced only some very small, slight brain zaps, and it was so much easier to handle. I was on 40 milligrams, and then I cut it down to 20 milligrams successfully. Then I cut it down to 10 milligrams and was doing great for about a week. You see, these medications work by slowly building up layer after layer until you feel the full strength of the medication. And alternatively, they slowly unlayer little by little when decreasing. So it took about a week for my body to feel the difference of being on 10 milligrams. It wasn't pretty. Spoiler alert, just so you know, I'm currently back on antidepressants. In fact, I'm on a higher dose now than when I tried to wean off. But it's all for the good. Let me share why I think this happened and shine the spotlight on the positive parts, because antidepressants aren't necessarily bad things. I went through some major trauma in my life. The antidepressant was a great tool in the healing and dealing process. For over a year, the medication helped regulate my emotions, my reactions, and my bodily responses to stimuli. And these were all important things in the wellness journey. In essence, I needed to feel safe to begin to heal and deal. And part of feeling safe is not having regular breakdowns or panic attacks or physical manifestations of stress. The medication helped me feel safe enough to heal. So I was feeling better and stronger. That sounds good, right? What I wasn't prepared for was the depth of my woundedness. Again, I'm not a professional. I'm just sharing my thoughts and feelings. When I look back on my journey, I see that I went through a bit of a numb stage, where I think my brain was completely focused on not succumbing to the complexity of my trauma. There was simply too much for me to process and deal with at the start, so my brain numbed part of itself. So I really wasn't dealing with all the memories and all the hurt. I was just beginning to heal in small steps. The antidepressants helped me further by allowing me to have moments of rest. Our bodies desperately need moments when we aren't consumed with our trauma. If you're new to the world of antidepressants, let me give you a little brief overview by saying that they are medications to help regulate our bodies, just like any other medication we might take for medical and health reasons. They aren't happy pills or an attempt to escape the world. They're more like how blood pressure medicine helps high blood pressure. They help your body deal with a very real problem, in this case, depression. I got to the point where I was feeling pretty good. I was healing and excited about moving forward. This is complicated, but this is when I began to feel good, but I also felt the bad. Oh, okay, did you see what I just did there again? I used but again, which negates the validity of the first part of the sentence. This was when I began to feel good, but I also felt the bad. So let me reframe that but to an and. This was when I began to feel good, because I really did. And I also felt more of the bad. I had healed just enough that my body and brain were ready to kind of stop some of the numb and take on new bits of my past trauma. And by bits, I mean they were major chunks I hadn't even begun to process. So I was feeling good enough to feel the bad. And I decided to decrease my medication at this time. Good job, Lilly. I began experiencing panic attacks again, small at first, then with more and more frequency. Nightmares returned in a maddening rush, as if my brain had been keeping the waves at bay until they shattered the barricades with a powerful tsunami. I knew I needed to either increase my dosage or maybe start a completely different medication. But it wasn't working for me anymore. At this point, my doctor wisely referred me to a psychiatrist because with all my lupus medication, I really needed a specialist to manage and recommend the best medications to treat my symptoms. I'm not going to lie, I was nervous just about the label psychiatrist. And yet it turned out to be a great new step. So I had gone from 40 milligrams down to 20 milligrams down to 10. And with my new guidance, I went back up to 40 and then up even further to 60 milligrams, where I am still today. Plus, I added 2 new medications to combat my nightmares and PTSD. A sweet friend of mine encouraged me by telling me I shouldn't feel bad about not being able to get off the antidepressants, and there was nothing shameful about it. And she's completely right. There is nothing shameful about taking antidepressants. It doesn't mean I'm weak or incapable. It does not call into question my character or abilities. This is the help I need right now, and so it's okay. In fact, I realize I may need to take antidepressants for the rest of my life, and that's okay. If I need it, I can't pretend otherwise. If I break my leg, I need to get a cast to make the bone heal straight. If I have a blood clot, I need blood thinners to ensure I don't have a stroke. This is an essential part of my self-care, a vital, crucial part. My mental health is part of the essence of who I am, and I need to remember that always. Since my doctor and I have gotten my medication stabled, I have been able to tackle the new stages of feeling so good that I could feel the bad. It's not easy. I can't do it alone. I have an amazing therapist who is an angel in Reeboks. I have a fabulous psychiatrist who I call my Jolly Jamaican because he is seriously the happiest person I've ever talked to and has the most melodic accent. I swear I could listen to him talk all day. I also have an incredibly strong support system surrounding me daily with love and encouragement. I have medications that are working well for me, and I utilize talk therapy and EMDR therapy. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it because I am worth it. I know I'm not the only one going through this. There are so many other wounded souls out there going through similar things. The whole point of this podcast is to share my experiences in the hope that it can touch someone else's life. I hope someone else can say, yes, that's how I feel too. It was so confusing how I started feeling good and then I felt bad, and why. Know that you're not alone. None of us are alone on an island of depression by ourselves. We've got each other. If you tried to get off antidepressants but ended back on, or like me, ended up on a higher dose, it's okay. It's not a failure. I'm certainly not perfect, but I hope some of my mistakes and blunders can help you see your path a little more clearly, or make you laugh a little, because we can all laugh more, right? But I just said but again, so let's reframe that. I'm certainly not perfect, and I hope some of my mistakes and blunders can help you see your path a little more clearly. Okay, I'm not perfect. I own that. I celebrate that. Who would really want the burden of perfection? I'm not perfect. And I have valuable insights that I'd like to share with you. Yeah, doesn't everything sound more wonderful when you validate your statements instead of wishing and washing them away? So going back to my searchlight moment about not being an angry person. I am a happy person. And I sometimes feel angry. Both sides of me exist. I can care for others, and I am still important. Self-care is not selfish. No matter what, I matter. I count. I am valuable. And so are you, my friend. You matter. You count. You are valuable. So to end today, I'm going to share a terrible joke because I truly believe we all need to laugh more. Do you want to know why I don't trust stairs? Because they're always up to something. I know, Terrible, terrible joke, but I love it. I hope you'll join me on Lily's Antidepressant Life as I share details of my journey. And I hope that you will share one of your terrible jokes in the comments. Maybe I can read it on one of the podcasts. And if you're interested in reading more on my blog, it is lillystrong.com. That has 3 L's. Lilly, strong, strong. Hope y'all have a great day and keep your chins up. Bye.